Commuter Chronicles, Bart, written by Yvette, Ricard, audio produced by Empire World Publishing. Dedication. This novel is dedicated to those that commute every day for work and have to deal with all the madness that occur while doing so. I decided it was time to write a novel on how much we have to go through to commute in the Bay Area. This novel is not to slander Bart. This novel is solely for explaining the way we commute and must deal with all of the craziness. This novel is facts as well as funny. Enjoy. Sincerely, a commuter. Acknowledgements. Shout out to all my friends for encouraging me to write this short novel, and to all you commuters out there, stay prayed up. Commuter Chronicles, Bart, written by Yvette Ricard, audio produced by Empire World Publishing. Excuse me, I say real loud as I board the train. All while trying to squeeze through the rude people that decided not to move. If you push them or bump them, they're ready to say something that would most likely have you ready to cuss their ass out.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
We all have to commute to get to places. Most importantly, we all commute Monday through Friday for work, right? We all might drive, carpool, some may walk, skate, or use public transportation. Yep, public transportation. I used to love taking public transportation. Why? Well, if you knew the traffic that occurs here in the Bay Area, you wouldn't ask. I found an article that was printed in Forbes 2011 that stated the 4 longest commutes in the country are in California, which consist of commuters heading to Los Angeles and San Francisco. I've seen some friends and family complain about their 30-minute commute in other states on Facebook, and I just shake my head. The commute here in the Bay Area can average at least 2 hours to get to your destination during commute hours. This novel is all about how rude and ungodly commuting folks can be while trying to get to their destinations between the hours of 7 a.m. through 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. through 6 p.m. Now these are the times I commute, and I believe most of you all reading this novel may as well. I do not commute on Muni, AC Transit, Golden Gate Transit, to name a few. Let me give you a rundown how many folks commute this way. My research shows that there's an estimate of 430,000 trips on a weekday and 129 million trips annually that takes this transportation. During peak commute hours alone, over 60,000 people ride through the Transbay Tube in both directions. Pittsburgh Bay Point carries the largest number of individuals. Side note, I do not miss that commute. Embarcadero and Montgomery stations are the busiest. Okay, now you know where I'm going with this novel. Let's get to the point. Welcome to my vent as a commuter on BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. This novel is not to give Bart a bad name, not at all. It's just to vent on the fact that people can be so rude while commuting. Let me give you the rundown of these rude commuters. Maybe you'll even put yourself in one of these categories. I will speak of my experiences as well as a few I've been told. Be mindful, I've been commuting on BART for the past 17 years. Here goes. Have you ever commuted on BART? You'll know that there are rules, right? These are the courtesy rules, and of course, these are BART rules. The BART rules are there to follow, so you won't end up on the tracks, or if the train stops and there's an emergency, you'll know what to do. Okay, there's the understanding of the BART rules that we must follow. Why? Because those rules are for our safety, and we should follow those rules. When a 9-car train pulls into the station, there are yellow blocks painted on the ground that everyone must stand behind. Meaning, if you decide on which line you'll like to stand and wait for the train to pull in, you'll fall in line behind someone. You know what a line is, right? Like a grocery line, a line when standing to get into a concert, a ball game. This line I'm speaking of is a verb. It just means stand or be positioned at intervals along. Well, this apparently does not go for a line at the BART station. I've approached the line and I've taken my spot while minding my business and listening to my music. I've noticed folks that come and stand right next to me or in front of me. Heck, I've seen folks sitting down, not handicapped, but average folks. And then when the train pulls up, they all will board out of order. I hate out of order, not giving a rat's ass that there were people that arrived before them that was standing in line. So here's the problem with this. Since most of folks did not stand in line once in time to board the train, they'll go pushing and shoving. Keep in mind they're just maybe seniors that are trying to board the train, and they'll push them as well. Now let's move on to the folks that like to talk on their phones rudely. When I say rude, I mean talking loud on their phones, arguing on the phones. Oh, and singing out loud. Okay, imagine the night before you had a bad night. You just couldn't sleep. Maybe the baby kept you up all night. Maybe you worked a night shift. Maybe you partied hard. Whatever the reason, you just want to get on the train and enjoy the peace and quiet. You may have been one of the lucky ones even to get a seat. Yes. You close your eyes, and only 2 minutes into a deep sleep, you hear, "Motherfucker, I left you some chicken in the microwave. Why are you calling me on my commute to work about a damn plate?" Yeah, now you're up looking at this person arguing with someone about some last night chicken. I mean, this person is arguing at 7 a.m. about a plate of chicken, which the person on the other line has no consideration that this person is commuting to work, that they should discuss this when they're home. No, not at all. Now that this person on the train yelling into their phone, calling the other person all kinds of names that no one appreciated having to hear at 7 a.m. in the morning. So now you're up. You do your best not to even look in the person's direction because they might just say something, which means it'll be a problem. Okay, how about the person that thinks they're the next Whitney Houston and decides to sing out loud while listening to their music? I was sitting across a lady that was singing out loud, and let me tell you, it wasn't Whitney Houston music she was listening to. Apparently, somebody got shot, stabbed, and they say all kinds of itches and iggas. You get the picture. Truth be told, I think it was the music playing, but she added her lyrics. Moving on. Let me vent about the folks that insist on standing in the doorway of the train. Commuter, have you ever noticed when a train pulls up how packed the train is? Yes, you have. I mean, so full that you can't even squeeze in. But if you look into the train, there's a lot of room towards the middle of the train. Yet folks stand in the doorway so that they'll have a quicker way of escaping the train. The train pulls up, the doors open, and now you have to squeeze by so you can get to the middle. Note to you folks reading, and know this is you. Trust and believe once the doors open, you will get off the damn train. The doors stay open long enough for everybody to exit. Really. Okay, so since I'm on the subject of folks standing in the doorway, there is some truth to the aisles being full as well. So a train pulls up, let's say the last stop out of San Francisco, which is Embarcadero. The train is full. I mean, it's folks that's on the doors. Once it arrives, like really, no one could get in. Y'all won't believe in the
9-car train for San Francisco Airport in 4 minutes.
On one particular commute, I had my breast up against one guy's back. I'm sure the little dude behind me tried his best not to touch my behind, but it wasn't an option. Yuck. I was told that on one occasion, this person watched a guy set himself up as if his ass was getting ready to tackle a quarterback and bum rush his way into a very crowded train. Now, I'm going to stop and let y'all vision that scene. I'll be back. Okay, y'all visualize that? Of course y'all did. Now, how many of y'all would have clotheslined his ass, right? I mean, the bum rush right into the train, forcing people to move out of his way, whether it was room or not. Let me remind some and inform some that these trains run like 5 minutes or so behind each other. Okay, well, if you missed a Richmond train, you may have to wait another 10 minutes. All that means is your ass needs to walk faster so that the Bart station, so that you won't miss it. So instead of waiting another 5 minutes or so, these folks will push their way in while you hear people yelling, "There's no more room." Or you hear the people trying to get in screaming, "Can y'all just move in some more?" Or y'all get someone like myself that unfortunately had to stand at the door with no way to move. So once the doors open, I stare them in the face and I shout, "I ain't moving," which means do not push me or try to stand in front or behind me. I won't elaborate much on this one, but if you live anywhere on the Fremont-Dublin line, you better damn well have a strong stomach, because the smell you have to endure on that line is disrespectful.
Why, you little maggot!
This
You make me
line
want
has
to vomit!
folks that do not bathe and love to put their arms up high while you have no choice but to stand underneath them. If you're new to commuting, try to avoid that line. Again, I won't elaborate on this, but I will revisit. I'm not done. All transportation has these signs. These seats are for handicapped, elders, and pregnant women. You wouldn't believe how many folks sit in these seats and would ignore the little old lady standing in front of them with the cane, or the 8-month pregnant woman standing while rubbing her belly. Just rude and disrespectful. I get you're tired, been at work all day, some seating all day, some standing all day, but if you see these folks, you must give them the seat. Now, we have to establish that these seats belong to the elder, handicapped, or pregnant woman, right? So if you're one of the above, let's give the folks enough time to get up. Some may and some may not, but there are folks out there that are gracious and knows better. No need in cussing them out. Like one story I heard, an elderly lady getting on the train with her crew and started yelling at someone that was sitting in one of these seats. Apparently, she got on the train and started yelling, "Get up! These seats are for elders." And when this person responded back asking her not to be rude about it, the lady hollered, "You people." Yeah. So no need in hitting them with your cane, or no need in acting like you're going into early labor. Again, these folks out here that respect and will give you a seat. I would love to wrap it up, but nope, there's more that needs to be discussed. BART riders are something else, y'all. So we all can't help if we become sick and still have to take public transportation. Trust and believe we'd rather not commute with sick folks, and sick folks probably would rather be at home trying to get well, but they just may not have any more PTO or ill or not have to get to work, and that's fine. Please, when you have to cough, cover your mouth. This may not only be for commuters. I'm sure we all encounter this issue everywhere. The grocery store, DMV, work, etc. It's just worse on a commuting train. I've been sitting next to someone or standing next to someone that would rather cough without covering their mouth because both hands were in use of their phones. Or shit worse, they just do not care. And they would cough out nasty germs that now will spread. The person that just so happened laughed at something with their mouth open, or the person that was holding a conversation with someone so their mouth was open, or that person that had a rough day and just yawned at the wrong time. This right here is just really curious for your fellow commuters that do not want your germs. Please cover your mouth. Alright, let's get serious now. Let's talk about the folks that get on the train and them with their crew. Yeah, y'all. It's fine you all commuting together, rather work and have so much to discuss, like why somebody ate Jamie's lunch out the fridge in the break room, or like why she gotta be on the phone talking personal business when she should be working, or like why she always acting like she too busy to help out. We all understand that y'all vent and talking about your coworkers, but unless you're going to say what company you work for, so we all know not to ever apply for a job there, please keep your gossip to a minimum and not talk so loudly. We guarantee one of y'all ate poor Jamie's lunch, and we already know from y'all conversation who be on the company's phone talking personal business. This brings me to the loud and drunk folks that decided to hit up the happy hour a little early, so now they on the 5:30 to 6 p.m. train. Wasted. The train yanks and y'all falling on each other, laughing hella loud, yelling, "Itch, you drunk for real?" Yeah, she's drunk, and so are you, 'cause you just stepped on my damn feet and didn't even say excuse me. Actually, while I'm on the subject of drunk, let's discuss the fact that weed is now legalized in California. I'm gonna say I don't think this has ever been an issue, but I've gotten a few texts from friends that take Bart pretty late after 6 p.m. And I'll add, this is still commuting hours. So yeah, I've gotten a few texts that this person is commuting home and is high as a kite. Not because they were smoking, but because they just witnessed a few folks roll up and then fire up. Not much you can do here, but get up and walk to the next train. You'll now find the homeless guy that's decided to take up every seat. Those seats that are four people sitting that faces each other, yeah, they like to sit there and put their bags on one seat while they stretch out on the other seats and put their feet on the other two seats. Yeah, keep walking because you dare not to wake them. Carry on the folks that have decided to commute the hours, the best time to get on the train and hustle for money. Mind y'all, the trains are packed, remember? So now we have to deal with the folks that are not fortunate enough to bathe every day like we can. So they get on these trains and squeak through folks asking for money. I was at Civic Center one day minding my business on my phone, and a guy approached me close enough that he could have kissed me, yelling, "Can you spare some change?" I politely said no, making a note you put my phone away whenever I'm at the station.
Nope.
Okay, as I promised, I remember I said I would revisit the Fremont Dublin
Take
community.
car train for Fremont in 3
Back on
minutes.
this one. Now, I'm sure for all the lines of commuting again, but again, I take the Fremont Dublin line, and on this particular line, I've noticed hundreds of backpacks. Keep in mind, if you're wearing a huge backpack on your back, that spot you're standing in is a two-person spot. Why? That backpack is holding up a spot. Not only is it holding up a spot, but it's also hitting folks the whole damn ride. It's a courtesy to remove your backpack once you aboard the train. Hold that bag in your hands while you're boarding the train, because the whole time you're boarding the train, the backpack has hit everybody you have to have pass by. Disrespectful. I was on a train once, and I swear I had to keep pushing this guy backpack off of me, thinking, okay, he'll get the point eventually and remove it. No, he didn't. So the next time I encounter a backpack that was literally in my face, I again politely tapped the guy on the shoulder and asked him, please remove his backpack. He did. This goes for large purses as well. Just tuck that huge bag right under your shoulder well enough so it won't rub up against my arm, or shit, better yet, rubbing up against somebody else's hand that could easily steal your shit while you're focusing on that phone. Now, let's take a quick break, and I'll let you ponder on a few things. I'm willing to bet you've laughed, gotten mad, or can even identify yourself in one of these stories thus far. How about I confess at least two of them? I'll confess to the loud conversation on the phone. Well, wait, let me explain though. My mother seems to call me every time I'm commuting, and I always have to shout, Mama, I'm on Bart. Okay, so that's it for the phone call. No matter where you are, you always got to answer your mother's phone calls, right? Then I'll confess to the drunk, well, not quite drunk and acting a fool, but I caught a few happy hours myself before commuting home. But I always made sure I was okay before boarding the train. Now, for my used to be drinking partner in crime, yep, she used to laugh out loud. So there you have it. I'm not the perfect commuting. I can tell my wrongdoings also. By the way, since we're on the subject of what I confessed to, letting me get to the next issue, I've not witnessed too many arguments while commuting, but I've heard a few stories. And I argued with another commuter myself. Totally came out of character. So you may be standing at one of those yellow markers I mentioned earlier in the book, and when a train pulls up, the doors may not open. Why? Because the doors on the train are broken. Yeah, there'll be a sign on the door, but of course you can't see until after you board the train. One particular commute home, after such a busy day at the office, I was in line standing behind someone as usual, listening to my music. The train pulls up, the doors open, not my train. It's full, can't no one squeeze in, so the person in front of me runs to the right and get on the train. Meanwhile, apparently the train to the left of the doors didn't open. Broken. They all start running over to the train that I'm standing in front of. Notice they cannot fit in, so they move to the next. Some stopped running and went to stand to the back of the line. I'm now first to board the train, which was my train. Remember, the person that was in front of me ran to get to the train? So now it was my time to be first to board the train. I'll call her Sister Girl. Well, Sister Girl decided she wasn't going to fall back in line. She decided she would just stay in front of me instead. Mind you, everybody else went and stood in back. Remember, the person that was standing in front of me ran and got on the train? Well, Sister Girl came from, I have no idea, but she wasn't going just to take my spot. I politely said, "Remember, I'm one of the friendly commuters. Excuse me, I was standing here. You need to get in line." Sister girl yelled, "Why black people always gotta be so rude?" I had my shades on and had a look around to see if she was referring to me. I politely said, "I was standing here first, and you ain't getting on this train before me." She yelled a few other things before walking off, putting her hands up, saying, "Girl, bye." And then I yelled, "Bye." So just quick, she just brought me out of my character. I then took my spot back, but turned to my right, where I'll call her Barbie was standing. I noticed that she came over with Sister Girl too, and I politely tapped her on her shoulder so she acted as if she didn't see what went down and told her, "That applies to you too." She quietly said, "Oh, I'm not getting on this one." Then she scouted out the line. I've never had to do that. I had enough. Could have been nice and let her stand in front of me, but it wasn't guaranteed that I would get on the next train pulling in if it were just enough room for one person. Sister Girl would have taken my spot. So, no, I waited patiently and long enough so I was getting on the train. Since I'm on the subject of Sister Girl throwing up her hand saying, "Girl, bye," which she had been any closer to me, and if any part of her would have touched me, it would have been a police activity at Montgomery BART station. Let me get into the next story. I witnessed this one. I was getting on my morning commute train, which one of my coworkers saw me and joined me in boarding the train. A very crowded train at the doors, so we had to squeeze through to get to the middle. I guess my coworker's bag, large bag, bumped this lady. My coworker was in the midst of saying, "Excuse me," but the woman beat her to a rude remark. Geesh. Did my coworker let her have it? Yes, she did. She was trying to explain that we had to squeeze through. Mind you, these two were face to face, literally, because this is how crowded the train was that morning. The lady put her hand up in my coworker's face, saying, "Whatever, OMG." My coworker lost it. I had to intervene a little, just saying, "Lady, we all got to get in." Had the woman's hand touched my coworker that morning about 7:45 a.m., it would have been a police activity at Fruitville Station. Okay, let's back up. Well, I forgot to mention the ones that stand on the wall instead of once again in line. They stand on the wall, and as soon as the train pulls up, they seem to believe that they get to board the train first. Once again, commuters, you need to fall in place, in line. You are out of order. Have you been on the train? Them young fellas enter with their jukebox and announce the name of their dance group, then turn the music on and proceed to lightweight break every bone in their body? Yeah. Oh, wait. There's two on my train now. Let me move. I'll be back. Gotta watch the show. Don't want them thinking I'm rude. Okay, I'm back. Cute little guys. They danced and didn't blast the music, then politely asked for a donation. Can't hate on that hustle, but I was distracted because someone on the train decided they need any damn deodorant. So now I'm frowning, and the dancers probably think I was laughing and hating.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really
They
fine.
have to commute with thousands of other people, so please freshen up a little before boarding. It's disrespectful. Now let's move on. Those that get on the train and have no idea where they're going, so they want to sit on the train and act like they never caught public transportation before. There's a huge map on every train. Be smart enough to study it before you stop. How about the ones you can see staring at you the whole ride? If you're gonna stare, at least say hi. Weird. Okay, this is the serious one, not the joke about. But I've been on a few trains and a few folks have fallen out in front of me. If you're not feeling well, try not to board the train. First of all, the floors are nasty and hard. Secondly, if it's a crowded train, you falling on everybody, trust me, you still gonna hit the floor because ain't nobody paying attention. Lastly, you just made everybody late to work. If not Aisha or Keisha will be late picking up little JoJo from daycare. This incident right here is an automatic 20-minute delay. Again, not trying to be funny, but if you're not feeling well, it's probably not a good idea to board a very crowded train. I can go on and on about commuting on BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, and how the folks rudely commute, but I'll stop it right here. I'm hoping that this novel will reach a few folks that may just laugh at the fact that these incidents does happen while commuting. Maybe this book may reach a few that identify themselves as one of those folks that don't stand in line and now understand that, yeah, they need to just get in line. Or maybe that person that pretends not to see the elder walk on the train and need to give up the handicap seat or just a seat, period. Before I close this novel, I must also add that there have been a few crimes while people are commuting. Please stand alert to your surroundings. There are signs on these trains asking that everybody keep your phones tucked away. It's amazing how many people are on their phones and not paying attention to their surroundings. I'm guilty. Also, although this novel was based on the commuters, I like to shout out the employees of Bart. I have a few friends that are employees. Thank you for all your services. Okay, I'm closing this novel. I need to prepare for my commute.
Professor X.